Zach is with us. Zach's in Atlanta. Hi, Zach. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
It's a quick question. I have about $8,500 in credit cards between two credit card debts, and a vehicle with 23,000, which is paid for through my company every month. So that's kind of beside the point. But
no, it's not.
My question is, okay, well, I got you. But the main reason I was calling was, should I combine the two credit cards and get a personal loan with a lower interest rate to pay off the credit cards?
Okay. What do you make?
65.
Okay.
1,000.
Well, we teach folks, Zach, if you are new to our stuff, to be extremely intense, unbelievably focused, cut your lifestyle to nothing, scorched earth, no life, until you clear these debts. Have you heard that stuff said by Ramsey people before?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I've been listening to you lately.
Now, given that as our scenario, making $65,000, how fast are you going to pay off $8,500?
Should be fast.
Well, what's fast?
If I do the budgeted app like I'm working on, which the first month didn't go as planned, like y'all talked about, 6 months.
Okay, good. All right. And so really what we're discussing with your question then is interest rate on $8,000 for 6 months. 10% change for 1 year would be an $800 change. So a 10% change in interest rate by getting a different loan on $8,500 is a $400 swing. Follow me?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And $400 is nice. If you send it to me, Rachel, we'll cash the check.
I'll take it.
Okay. But the you see, but here's my point. Okay. The reason we're doing this math out is this: it's okay to do what you're talking about doing. The problem with it is it makes you feel like you did something.
Right, but you still have the debt.
Well, yeah, you what you did was $400, and you don't have a $400 problem. You have a $31,000 problem.
Right.
And so, you've already ascertained. Listen, you're already ahead of the curve because you've already figured this out. I'm doing my budget. Didn't work right the first month. I'm learning how to do this. I'm building new muscles that I didn't have before. You're on track to be winning with this, Zach. You're very impressive. So, but what I'm pointing out is that the math says the important thing to work on is living on nothing and paying this debt off super fast, because that's $8,000 in 6 months. The question you asked about is $400 in 6 months. So if you only do the $400 change, you didn't do anything.
Right.
You do the $8,000 change and you don't do the $400 change, you're still out of debt.
Right.
So you're the secret sauce, not the interest rate. Because it's such a short term and it's such a small amount of money in general as in the scope of your life.
And where you're going to see the momentum, Zach, is not just in the math, which is what we're doing, right? So the idea of taking, well, should I just take a personal loan to, combine the credit cards and just have one loan with lower interest rate? All that's like it's math talk. But when you get in that change of, wow, I am literally sacrificing my lifestyle. I am saying no to things and I'm throwing money at it. That's the momentum. That's what's going to get you to win long term and to pay this off. It's not going to be the math. And you can do that. And that's the problem is I think we get so caught up in the math when we think about money. So your question is not invalid because it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense if we're just talking about math. But we're not talking about math. In order to completely change the way you handle money and to build wealth over the long term, it's your behavior that changes. And so by you saying this little math of $400, I'm not even going to mess with because I'm going to focus so much on what I can do and changing, your budget, putting money away, and going through the baby steps. That's where you're going to see a lot of the progress.
I sense that you're
be making more than the minimum payments that I have been.
Right.
That's
if
right.
you're going to keep the debt,
if
you were going to keep the debt for 5 years, then it would be a big deal to get the personal loan.
Right.
But you're not.
Right.
So you're already convinced. But let me keep teaching our audience with your example. Okay. The other thing is this: the words that we use, all of us, reveal what is going on in our heart. And you said something very interesting that I want you to think about. because personal finance is behavior more than it is math. You said, I want to get a personal loan to pay off my 2 credit cards. Well, you're really not paying them off. You're just moving them to a personal loan. So a proper way of saying it would have been, hey, I want to move my debt over to a different kind of debt to get a lower interest rate, but I'm going to pay off my debt with extremely low lifestyle and a debt snowball, and that's how I'm going to pay off the debt, because you can't borrow your way out of debt. And so that's a lesson for the rest of our audience, because people say that all the time. I'm going to pay off my debt by borrowing this. No, you didn't pay it off. You just moved it. And so, again, I think
the budget would be the first step before I'm even worried about doing the personal loan, evidently, because the budget didn't work the first
That's right.
month.
Yeah, let's get going and really get some momentum on pounding that 8,500 in the mouth. Just beat the snot out of it, right? And then when you get that moving, like you're saying, if you want to do the personal loan and save $400, like I said, that's good. There's nothing wrong with $400. But if you feel like that got you out of debt, then you were mathematically wrong. What gets you out of debt is Zach looking in the mirror and go, hey, Bubba, we're changing. That's the big deal.
And paying off that smallest credit card first by keeping them separate gives you that momentum as well of like, okay, I can do this. It's actually working, and it keeps you fueled.
Yeah, that's
versus
true.
one big loan.
That's true. You lose the emotional momentum of the debt snowball by moving it.
Yeah, the debt snowball is where. Do you know where that is? Do you know what the debt snowball is?
I've heard of it.
I'll teach you the next segment.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Stay
you can bring me up to date on how to use it.
I will. I'll teach you.
You're so kind.